Good evening, everybody. Am I on mute? I got to check everything now. this is. I'm going to tell everybody the story why I'm laughing as soon as I come on air in a little bit when I bring my wonderful other queens on. But as everybody know, this is the Diamond Perspective Panel Discussion Monthly. Yay! I am not by myself tonight. I just wanted to come on first because I wanted to kind of introduce what we're going to be talking about, and then we're going to really get and dive deep in some conversation. As we're always talking about mindset. Mindset, you have to have a good mindset. You got to have positive, all this kind of stuff. But what really, truly, let's really kind of dig deep in that, because if it's always so easy to say that, then why all the time we got issues going on sometime, or challenges, or everything is in an uproar sometime in your life, business or personal or whatever. So I want to kind of nip some things and see, is it just a mindset? Maybe something else. Maybe we need to think a little bit more further when it comes to the concept of that. So I really want to talk more into that. And I just want to welcome everybody to the show this evening. We come on every first Thursday of the month with the wonderful queens of the Diamond Factor Group. So I will be bringing on the wonderful ladies that's going to help me talk about this subject. Now, hello.
Nice to see you, Barbara.
Hi there.
Yes. Hello,
hey. How are you?
Hello, ladies. Oh,
and here's Regina. I was just getting...
And the gang's all here, as they say.
How are you doing?
You know what?
And I was going to take my glasses off, but oh well.
Oh well. Well, let's tell it. I'm going to tell a really short, fast story before we start our discussion.
Hey, this is your panel. We'll let you do that.
Okay. I'll do a quick introduce and do that. This is a conversation we have. So I'm waiting. I'm logged on to StreamYard, and I'm into the lobby. They call it the lobby, and I'm just waiting. 7:59, 7:58. I don't see any of the ladies. And I was like, okay, what's going on? They just forgot about me. They said, forget it. I said, no, I'm looking at texts. I'm looking at IMs. I'm looking at everybody. And then they tell me, I said, where are you at? I said, where you go? And then they're like, we're in the lobby, Barbara. I'm like, well, you're not in this lobby. So I'm looking down like, this is me. I look up, I'm in the lobby. I'm in the wrong lobby.
I was too. I was in the wrong place as well. So I totally can relate, Barbara.
Oh, good. See, thank you. I appreciate you. I was like, okay,
it's all good. It's all good.
Said, this is kind of bad. And then I was like, we're about to start. I said, okay. So, see, it's not always technology, Barbara. It's mostly sometimes human error. Human error.
Can I share another funny story? I'm going to tell on my sister. My younger sister, she's a little bit of a control. She just likes things to be. And one day and when my dad got to be like 95, 96, we would just all get together and we would go out for breakfast. And so this one day I got a slightly miffed phone call from my sister. Where are you guys? I'm here at Tutti Frutti. And where are you? We were in Montreal. I'm here at Tutti Frutti. Where are all of you? And I said, well, Deb, I have Dad with me, and we're at Shakora. But I have Dad with me, so I know that I'm in the right place. We left her. She had totally gone to the wrong restaurant.
Nothing to do with technology.
And nothing to do with it. But I've done that too. It's like totally gone to the wrong restaurant.
Yeah. Oh well. So now that we're all in the right place,
and now we're all here
together.
We're together. Now we can have forever together. Okay, this is nice. I'm loving this. It's just I just feel like we're sitting in the living room just talking while people are watching us.
Love it.
So let's first. Okay, I'll get to. Let me Get the professional part real quick.
Let's.
At least people know who we are instead of just saying there's just 4 ladies on there talking. My name is, and Barbara's going to get me on this, so I want to start before she even tells me. My name is Barbara Beckley, and I am the CEO and the co-founder of the Diamond Factor LLC. And my mission is to help, especially women, to understand what their PPD is, what their purpose, passion, and drive. And then once we get that and we dig a little bit deep and they're like, you know what, now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, now we need to let you shine and up for others. So I create visibility for them through this type of thing, panel discussions, TV streaming, interviews, social media content, coach, all that good stuff. So they can be shining like diamonds. And these ladies, I don't need to help them because they're shining like diamonds every single day. So I love them so much. They you just give me the energy to work with more women. You know that. I just want to let you all know that. You really do. Because what you're doing and the impactors that you are. So, and we created this Diamond Perspective panel from Miss America Supermodel because I always say this, she created the name. So thank you, America Supermodel. Because I love it. I love it, the name of it. And what we do is we discuss different topics monthly. We come on Thursday, first Thursday of the month. So everybody that's watching us right now, put that in your calendar for next month. Put your calendar. Yeah. So who's next? Who's up next to introduce themselves?
I don't know. Okay, I will.
Okay,
because I'm beside you on the panel. Anyways, I'm Barbara Ellison, and I am your personality pro. Because you know what? Personality drives reality. It impacts absolutely every area of your life, whether it's relationship or business or personal. And for myself, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm. So many people right now are unhappy. So we need to all get our messages out there. Like with Barb, she gets people to know what their passion is. Okay, but then you have to start sharing. Well, what I do is I help them to share it more effectively so that they can go knowing the personality codes of their audience so that they can engage and connect to more of their audience. Because the more you connect with your audience or your family or your business partners or whatever who is you're trying to connect with, it's going to make everything more smoothly and you're going to get your message out quicker, more efficiently, and everybody wins. So, love it.
Love it, love it. Yes. So
and I'll go. I am America's Supermom. I'm the mother of 15 children, and I'm a TV producer, podcast host, all things media related to mental wellness. I help empower mothers to face life's challenges with a smile instead of stress. And I'm happy to be here today.
Yes.
Well, I love this month, this show in the months. Just, yeah.
And
I want to, okay, can I introduce for a second? I want to introduce Regina because she's one of my mentors, and she has absolutely watched the transition of me.
Awesome.
So it has been an amazing journey.
It's been a delightful journey.
Thanks, Regina.
And I just have to say, Lachelle, every time you say you have 15 children, my head just goes like this.
I know.
Of course, I was blessed with one and wanted a dozen. And I have to share with you real quick, and then I'll tell you who I am. But I told my daughter when she was a teenager, I said, now, I wanted a dozen. And I only had you. That's it. So you have to make up the difference. And she says, Mom, it doesn't work that way.
Well, I was an only child. I was the only child. Yeah. So it's crazy. I made up for it. Okay. All those wishes for a brother or sister. I made my own wish come true.
There you go.
I didn't know it was going to cost me so much mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah. My daughter tells me I've raised about a dozen kids anyway, so it's.
This is true. I'm one of them. I can attest to that.
I love it.
You're the elder, Barbara.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know.
children.
So, yeah, I help heart-centered, multiple six-figure entrepreneurs to maximize the profit in their business, to create the structure so that their business can run without them, which allows them to create more time freedom, more financial freedom in their business, and to rebuild those relationships which have been negatively impacted by the stress and the overwork and all of that, so that when they're ready to move on to their next adventure, they have a business that they can sell for maximum value and walk beautifully into that next adventure. I'm a podcast host. I'm an international best-selling author. And that's me.
So, that's we have so much credibility on this panel, and you're just doing. So that's why I just commend each and every one of you of being on the panel, and we can discuss certain topics and just get it out there and let people, let's just talk about it. So I want to go straight into it because we, of our time and everything. But something popped in my head. Is this week I was thinking about, because I've been hearing a lot of people lately talk about mindset. I mean, I've been hearing the coaches, speakers. I even heard, I was at the grocery store the other day with my mask on just to be protective. And they were like, it's all about the mindset. I mean, this is a registered person that's with, and I was like, okay. And it seemed like they just threw it out there like it's like the common word. And I was like, okay, I hope it's not getting like the common word, because there's more to it than just saying you have to have a mindset. So I said, well, let's kind of discuss that, and I got a quote. I always got my famous quotes I bring up. And this quote, we can kind of go from here. Once your mindset changes, everything on the outside will change along with it. And this is from Steve Malbull. So, if we want to discuss, what do you think? Let's go into, first of all, what is your idea of when somebody says when you tell somebody you have to have a mindset or positive mindset? Want to go first, Regina?
Sure. So for me, it's, okay. Wrap my head around that. It's believing in yourself and your abilities. It's knowing that you can create your own success, that you can create the environment that you want, the success that you want, that there's really nothing that can stop you when you do the mindset work. And I had the opportunity recently to write the foreword for a book that a dear friend of mine and colleague has written. And a lot of it had to do with mindset, although it was really about health, but mindset was a big factor in it. And I realized as I was writing that foreword, I've been doing mindset work for 40 years or 40 plus years. And while it's taken, the world by storm right now, that work's been around for a long, long time. And I think my work with it began back in the 70s, probably mid 70s, when I was a Mary Kay Cosmetics person. Because Mary Kay Ash was one of a huge proponent of mindset, positive mindset.
Anybody want to scale on that? Oh, first of all, before we do that, let's welcome Miss Laura Armstrong.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, you want to introduce yourself, lady, real quickly?
What's that?
You want to introduce yourself real quickly before we go on?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's awesome to be here with all you amazing ladies. So it's Canada Day where I am. So
that's right.
Yeah, I've had a glass of wine with my dinner, but I thought I'll come on in and see all the ladies and have a good chat and then head back to my husband. But come in and what a great opportunity to hang with you all. So I'm loving that. So and Michelle, I have a new chair. You can appreciate that.
I know, I was going to say, and then I'm like, I've been seeing you every day, girl.
Awesome. You guys look amazing. Yeah, I love the topic of mindset because I think it affects everything in our life from the beginnings of who we are as a person to where we want to go through our lives. And it shifts so many times, right? And, as we get older, we get smarter, right? Well, we're supposed to get smarter, but we figure out more what we want to do, like what's going to resonate with us, right? And and so it's funny because your mindset seems to come along with you. And And the more knowledge you accumulate and the more you learn, I find that the more you shift your mindset into not just being a great success mindset, but helping others do the same. And it becomes less about you and more about them. And I don't know if you guys resonate with that, but I've noticed that in the last 10 years or so. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just feel like, I have my days that I struggle, right? Like, last week I had a meltdown. I just lost my cookies, right? But, my mindset about it was like, I'm not, I had this moment where I wanted to quit for about 2 hours. And I'm like, what, Laura, come on, seriously? No, right? Don't lose sight of what your goals are, right? And how you're going to help so many other people. So, for me, mindset is key. And, a lot of people that I work with and what I do, is in leadership and communication. And Barbara knows about that because we both do bank, and we think it's, I can't speak for Barbara, but it's just such an amazing tool. But when you're talking about shifting people into mindset, they really have to have more awareness in their lives. And then the second thing is they have to be more conscious of what they're doing every moment. And this takes work. It doesn't happen overnight. And the last thing I tell people is you actually have to step into action and do something to change it. Mm-hmm. Right. And so if you really want to move forward, like with your mindset, it has to have those key things. And I know everybody has a different opinion about that, but that's what I've seen the most success on. And so that's a little bit about what I think about mindset. Mine is always like, go for the goal and total action. Let's, I want to rule the world with everybody beside me. Right. Like that's the way I think. So, yeah. And anybody I can help to do that, let's do it.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw a wrench in here before we get to America's Supermom, because I know she has another quote too. So let's just say I'm the typical person, and I come to one of you, and you tell me, okay, Barbara, you just have to have a positive mindset and just go for it. And I'd be like, well, you know what? I just had a hard day at work. My business stinks right now. I'm not making enough money, and it's been going like this for months. And on top of that, guess what? We got a pandemic still going on. And I wanted to go to Australia this year. And now they're talking about they closed it down again. And what you want me to do? You want me to have a positive mindset? Really? So what would you tell me?
That was me last week having my meltdown.
I think, that is a great question.
It really is.
So many of us, when people talk about mindset, sometimes they think that life is going to be roses and rainbows and all these good things. Mm-hmm. But just because you choose to have a great mindset doesn't mean that you're not going to be faced with adversity or things that are outside of your control. So the mindset is really the foundation for how you want to respond. Mm-hmm. So in those cases, when other people are kind of stuck in the circumstance that they're in currently, it is a time for you to ask them questions. So how can you get out of this? What is really the pain point? Really begin to probe, because I know from my own experience in dealing with depression, I never really had that time to kind of reflect. I was on autopilot. I was always doing things, staying busy, somewhat avoiding the elephants in the room instead of really facing them. So, it wasn't until my last hospitalization after 3, you would have thought I would have learned at the first or second, but I guess I'm just kind of hard-headed in that area. But I recognized that it was a pattern. And then I recognized that, hey, you know what? I'm doing this to myself. I can blame other people, but really I'm the common denominator. And so I think when it comes to mindset, is really realizing and taking accountability for your decisions. A lot of times we don't make decisions, but that's still making a decision. We think, oh, I'm just going to wait and see how this pans out. Well, that's making a decision, because you're not empowering yourself to choose and start a plan of action towards making that choice a reality. So I think it just, for me in my journey now, I have to unlearn so many things that, were a part of who I was, but it was a mindset that was scarcity, that was, fear of failure and competition. And so now I'm into unlearning that, but also, you have to realize, like I'm cleaning out my office And, I just feel like I just keep papers and books. It's crazy. Okay. It's taking me like, I don't know how long to go through this office, but, I'm learning that I cannot recreate a new beginning out of my old mindset. So even though I'm
Right.
like in a place of learning new things, implementing change, I can't go back and organize the way that I used to organize because I'm here at this point now of unorganization for some things because that mindset didn't serve me. So now I'm exploring and changing my actions so that I can have different outcomes. And, that's a huge thing to kind of come to reality with. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm self-sabotaging myself, right? So, so many things with mindset. I think it's just, it's the catalyst and the foundation for so much change.
Yeah. Anybody want to chime in on that?
One of the things that one of the things that Michelle kind of brought to my mind is that we do have a choice. The thing is that I think one of the turning points for me was in my mindset was realizing that so much of our present mindset started when we were 7 and 8. So many of the things that, because as a child, everything goes in. I mean, until you're 7 or 8, everything goes in. Everything you hear, everything you see, everything goes in. And then your brain starts making these pathways. So if you have been brought up with that, you've been hearing that you're stupid or that you're ugly or that you're anything, that gives you a mindset that you can take into as an adult. And until you realize, like for me, until I realized that, okay, oh yeah, that was from the time I was 7 or 8. Okay, I have to get in touch with that 7 or 8-year-old. Like get in touch with that inner child. What's that inner child feeling? And sometimes that's a tough thing to do because some of the feelings you have are just so angry and you are upset and you are feeling unloved and all those negative things. And yet until you deal with carry on into what you're doing now as an adult. And when I realized that, and one day I was sitting in front of my computer, I was actually, and this was months ago, the tears were rolling my face. Talk about having a meltdown. And then it was like, okay, Barbara, what's going on here? What's underneath this? There's something, I mean, yes, you're frustrated that these things are not happening the way you want them to happen, but what's underneath it? And I was planning an event. And when I sat back, and my favorite thing is sit back and breathe. Breathe and feel. Take the time to stop, feel what you're feeling, and listen to what comes up. And what came up was that I was absolutely scared to death. That as a little girl, it was the little girl in me that I was scared to death that nobody would come to Marty. It was that feeling because I was planning an event that people were going to come to. And then it turned out that 25 people registered for my event. And I had a few technical difficulties that I've had to postpone it. But the 25 people did sign up for it. And yet before that, I was feeling that nobody was going to come to my party because I was frustrated with the tech. But that was the underlying. And it was just such a, like, ooh.
Yeah, Regina, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Barbara was saying there because a good friend of ours, Tyson Sharp, talks a lot about that. But one of the things that I think happens to most people when they're in that spot is they start to berate themselves for feeling the way they're feeling.
Right.
They start to get down on themselves.
Right.
And one of the things I love about what Tyson teaches is, you wouldn't get down on that 7 or 8-year-old girl or that 7 or 8-year-old child that was feeling that way, you would take them in your arms and love them and hug them and hold them and give them all the support they needed, right? And we need to do that same thing for ourselves when we find, these things happening in our own lives. We need to love ourselves and not get upset with us and and take that negative attitude about us.
Regina, I want to say something before you brought that up about loving yourselves, and you wouldn't do that, if you were, a child, and that's good. I get that, but I know some people. I think the problem is sometimes that they might not love themselves, or they feel like they do, but they might not really love themselves, and that's where they start beating themselves up. And I'm saying this because I'm a witness to that a while ago, where when I was growing up, my mother was like Sergeant Beckley. I mean, basically, if I got an A, it needed to be an A plus. If it was an A plus, she would think of something, an A plus plus, because she always said, "You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough." And my dad was the opposite. So I grew up with that mentality. Okay, mindset. Here we go with the mindset. And then now I'm older, and then when I don't do things right, or something doesn't go right, or whatever, I do beat myself up. Because I go back to that little girl that my mother kept saying, "Okay, you're not doing good enough. What are you doing? You see, you missed it. You had a whole workshop and no one didn't show up." I'm just using an example, and you just blew it. So see, what did you do? And I'm beating myself like, what am I supposed to do? Maybe I did this. Maybe I should have reached out. Maybe I should have made it cheap. All of a sudden now I'm starting to down value myself too.
Right?
Did you hear that? So maybe I should have made it less costly. Or see, all that starts to come out. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think there are generations of us who are experiencing that, which is why there's such a movement in mindset today, because there's such a need for us to overcome that and reach that place of loving ourselves. And sometimes it takes someone outside of you to help you, just like it does in building a business. You need a coach. If you're a sports player, you need a coach. If you're going to play professional sports, coaches, mentors help us see the things that we can't see for ourselves, and then guide us lovingly to that place, hopefully, if they're a good coach. I've known some that didn't do it so lovingly, and the result was drastic.
I mean, I mean, sometimes we do need a little kick in the pants, like
kick in the pants.
Just let it go.
But with love.
Let it go. But with love.
Yeah.
But with love. It's like, and so often I can remember, I mean, it's just craziness, because so often I can remember saying to myself, and I'm getting so upset. And then it's like, Barbara, if you were right now acting and one of your clients was acting the way you are, what would you tell them?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Kind of like that little girl that you brought onto your lap and hugged, right?
What would you tell them to do? And it's so often, and one of the things I remember one time, I don't remember who it was, it said, if you treated your friends the way you treat yourself, you wouldn't have any friends. And that's absolutely the truth, because we beat ourselves up for things we can't, and that's one of the things I like about what I do with my personality, that because once you learn about yourself, okay, this is your stress, this is what makes you you. Accept who you are. Let go of the stuff you're not, and quit beating yourself up for the stuff that you're not, and celebrate the things that you are.
Yeah.
Because we all have strengths and weaknesses. We can focus on our weaknesses instead of because otherwise, when we focus on our strengths, women are taught at bragging. When we say something about something we're good at, you're just bragging.
But not only that, we're constantly comparing ourselves to the outward appearance that everybody else presents. Yeah, and that's a losing proposition, because you're not seeing who that person is. You're seeing, a vision of them, not the whole thing.
So
and
true.
you're seeing your whole thing.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because really we are supposed to be in a state of joy on this earth, and we aren't. Because if you're in a state of joy, people are like, what's wrong with you? Are you on drugs? But our natural state is to be in a state of joy, right?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that you guys brought up all the mom stuff, because I mean, I love my mom, but she gave me a lot of, can I say my 4-letter word that I don't want anymore? You know, when I realized it when in my 20s, I'm like, I don't want my mom's money mindset, because it's very much a poverty mindset. I don't want,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
she was beaten and abused by her, you know, all this stuff, right? I have my own stuff of that. Like, I don't need hers, right?
Right.
So I think that what you guys were all talking about was just so key. And I hope people are really listening to this, because there's lots of nuggets in there. It's questions and choice that are actually going to change your mindset, which is what you guys all just said. Questions and choice. You're never trapped unless you choose to be, right? And a lot of people can't see that. So that's when people or, you know, mentors like you guys come in and you say, look, there's more here for you than you see. What kind of questions can I start asking you, to so that you have some space around things and aren't feeling like you're trapped, right? You know, and I remember my mom saying, well, you know, honey, money doesn't grow on trees. I'm like, well, damn, Mom, it grows on my trees. And it's in my backyard, right? And it also, you know, so it's like, how much do you want to believe of that? And how much do you want to give back, right? Because like, once I think we start giving back all this stuff, because our parents really just wanted to do a good job bringing us up. That was their job. They gave us their values and the things that they, you know, knew to give us, because we're their children, and they want to bring us up as, you know, functioning adults who help others. But there comes a point, like you said, when you're 18, 19, 20, you really have your own mind, even before that. And I think that we're not taught to actually make decisions for ourselves early enough. And so you can give that stuff back. I've been giving stuff back for years. The freedom it has allowed me, right? Even like when they put, you know, my mom still does it to this day. I remember, I'm going to tell a very short story because you guys are going to laugh. And you'll be like, I know what you mean. So my mom would call me up and she'd be like, hey, honey, how's it going? I'm like, hey, Mom, what's up? So we talk for 10 minutes. I can handle my mom for a couple hours. I love her dearly, but, you know, we're good to go after that. And then she wanted the attention, so she would start an argument with me on the phone. She would press my buttons. And so we would argue for half an hour. I hang up the phone. I'm like, I'd be pissed. Then she'd call and apologize next week. And then she'd do it next week, the same thing. I caught on the second time. So then I started saying in my head, I'm like, well, Mom, that's a really interesting point of view. Do you think about those, you know, that you think that way? She says, well, what does that mean? I'm like, well, I just think what you're saying is really interesting. So, then she doesn't know what to say, right? It's a great technique, because she's like, okay. She goes, okay, honey, I'm gonna go. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you later, Mom, right? You know, like, so it's just like there are, you know, you guys are full of wisdom. So there's all these techniques you can do to de-escalate without actually them realizing that you're not letting them so you don't have no point of view about any of it. Right? Yeah, so it was really interesting. And so I have a great relationship with my mom. She tries to get in her snide comments. I'm like, that's really interesting, Mom. And she just looks at me. She's like, oh, here we go again. I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, see you later. You know.
Can I comment on that? Because you reminded me of something. I heard an expression the other day that just really resonated with me, that reminds me of, I mean, that you just reminded me of. And it was like, when you fight back, when you get in those arguments and you do that, said it's like chasing the arsonist while your house is burning down.
Seriously.
I thought that is just perfect.
Well, another one is,
Michelle, before you say anything else, I have a big quote for you. You're going to love that I found. Anyways. Okay. Enough said.
The other one is like, they said something like, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
To die.
Another one that was good. Yeah.
Right.
But I think, you know, when it comes to the mindset, another thing is realizing, is the story yours or somebody else's? You know, because we have so many stories that are tied into our childhood, and we realize, you know, later on, it's like, man, that's not even my story. You know, I don't even believe that. And so it's that probing to really realize, you know, we can make comments just because we've always heard them said by family members and coworkers or whoever. And when you begin to pause and think about what you're saying before you say it, is this really something that I feel serves me? Does it reflect my beliefs? Because, they can change as you mature and grow. There was a time that I would not feel comfortable telling some people no. Now it's like, hey, I'm lucky to give you a yes, because you learn that your time is valuable. You learn to spend time with people that value you and you value them. Everything is not always for you, but all these things you learn as you begin to experience life and grow.
Yeah. So true. And kudos to Laura, is it Laura?
Laura, yeah.
Yeah. To learning in your 20s about that money mindset. I didn't learn until I was in my 60s where my money mindset came from.
Wow.
You're so right. I see it time and again with people, and it, like when they have that aha moment, no matter what their age they're at, they're like, really? I don't have to keep it? I'm like, no, man.
Right.
That's a choice, right? Like, honestly.
When it hit me, I called my sister and I said, what's your first recollection of money? And she didn't have one. And I shared my story with her that I remembered. Well, she happened to be out of the room when the incident was occurring because she was being punished. And so she didn't witness the incident that set my mind for years on, you don't want to keep money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And just before anyone else says anything, I can only stay another 5 minutes, but I wanted to say, Barbara, thank you so much for inviting me. Lachelle, I've seen you every day this week, and I've loved every moment of it. I'm so great to spend both time with you guys. Like, you are amazing women, and I just really value your contribution for everything.
Oh, I love you, Laura.
Are you putting that quote in the chat?
Okay, I'm giving you the quote. Here's the quote. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
Never blame anyone in your life. Good people give you happiness. Bad people give you experience. The worst people give you a lesson. And the best people, they give you memories.
Oh,
love it.
You gotta send that, Laura.
That was awesome.
I'm just like feeling good about that whole thing.
Yeah. Hey, Laura. Yeah. I can get that bottle of wine from you too.
Yeah, that's right. When I get across the border, you guys are in big trouble.
Oh boy, we gotta have a party. I can't wait.
I think we should have a Diamond Factor event.
Yes.
A retreat.
Sounds good.
Yes, a retreat.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. You put it out there, so it's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I love creating stuff, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lachelle, I got a new chair, Lachelle. You'd be proud of me. You guys want to hear the story behind this? You're going to laugh so hard. I know we're getting off topic, but it's so funny.
It's the mindset. It's the mindset.
This is the mindset. I want you guys to have joy tonight. So we're doing this recording for our summit. And my chair is, the thing that keeps it up, that lever, it's broken. So I'm going down like this as we're doing. Yeah, and I'm tilting my screen like this as the chair is moving, right? And this is going on for half an hour. And my co-host, Aneri, who is going to be on here tonight, you could see her trying not to laugh. Lachelle had no idea. And at the end, I'm literally like this, looking up into the computer, right? and so we stopped the recording, and I'm like, I am literally sitting on the floor. And Michelle's like, oh my God, you're such a Beyonce. It didn't even faze you. I'm like, no, I just kept going, man.
I didn't notice a thing. I said, Laura, I have so many things going on. I'm focusing on what I'm saying.
That is so, yeah, that's funny. Now that is
oh my
funny.
God, it was classic. Yeah, it was classic. So I stole my husband's chair, and then he got mine. So he's good to go. Oh. God, I love you guys. I needed that so bad today.
I think the next thing we're going to talk about next month is determination. So thank you, Laura, for giving us the subject for next month.
I got lots of those stories. Yeah. Oh my God. You guys are such powerful women. Just even spending like 15, 20 minutes with you guys has been so amazing. And I'm gonna get going, but I wanted to tell you thank you, Barbara, for honoring me and having me on here and sharing my time with you.
Come on, you know it's the
nice
first Thursday
meeting
of the
you.
month, so please
Yeah.
come.
It's the first Thursday of every month. Okay.
Mhm.
I will be seeing you all soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone have a good
Bye,
night.
Laura.
Take
Bye.
care.
Enjoy your
and,
holiday.
Yeah.
Happy
stay
Canada.
positive.
Happy Canada Day.
Yeah,
Yep.
happy Canada Day.
Yeah, happy 4th. Happy 4th to you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
She is funny. I'm glad she's
She
going
is.
down.
That's funny.
She's going down.
But you know,
down.
we can,
I didn't
Yeah.
notice the thing.
yeah,
I was looking
you know,
at that light. Okay.
yeah.
Keeping it up with
And
the light.
funny things like that happen. And I think part of mindset is how you handle them. She just went
Right.
on. I remember one time I was doing an interview with a guy, and you know what? We have virtual backgrounds. Well, you have green screens,
Mhm.
you know, and it's, well, my dog knocked over my green screen. So all of a sudden you see my background just, and it was like, oh well. Okay. You know, and so what do? So he looked at me, you know, he looked at me, I looked at him, and he said, Barb, I'm leaving that in. And I went, absolutely. Because there was nothing you could do.
Wow.
Over it went.
Boy, I mean, if we just had a thing of bloopers, that would be so awesome.
I know.
Right.
You know, isn't it true? Sometimes the blooper shows are funnier than the
Then the
original
real
show.
show.
Absolutely.
So
Than the
true.
real show.
Yeah.
I love
I
bloopers.
love blooper shows
Mhm.
because you just, like, Barb, how many times have you and I had bloopers on our show? Like, oops,
God.
oh well. Yeah, you know.
Whatever.
And I mean, it's like whatever. But you know what? I think one of the things that I really think, and this comes back to mindset too, is being authentic, being willing to just be, oh well. It happens, but so often people are so afraid of having something like that happen. But what if my green screen falls over and they don't start? Well, so what if your green screen falls over? Oh well, let's go on. But
That's the mindset hack, girl.
That's a mindset. That's a
Mhm.
mindset because they go into the what ifs.
Yes.
What if this happens? What if that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And-
okay, I'm going to tell on Regina. One day we were doing
There's lots of stories there, let me tell you.
it's awesome. But no, this one wasn't her fault. But we were doing, I can't even remember
I'm
which
scared.
show it was. We were doing one of the things. She was the host. Zoom kept kicking her out.
5 times I got kicked out of my own room.
Kicked out of her own room.
You know, I can see somebody else's room, but when it's your own room, that's kind of
Yeah.
strange.
It's your own room.
It was bad. It was a bad
5
day.
times.
It's like,
But
why
you know,
am I
doesn't that
she-
come back to our perfectionist that we think
Yeah.
we have to be perfection, and
Right.
and that's mindset again, right?
Mhm.
We don't
That's
let our
mindset.
guard down. We see someone else. Someone sees Barb Beckley here, and they say, "Man, this woman is just perfect." Or we see Supermom. She's raising 15 children. Holy cow! You know, she's perfect.
Work
And
in
so we think,
progress.
I can't make a mistake
you.
publicly. What was that?
Hat for the bad hair day. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
It's the
I
mindset.
love it. It's the mindset. And we think, oh, they're perfect, so I have to be. And then we, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. See how the word just comes out? It automatically just comes out. It's a mindset.
It's mindset. Exactly. And it's, and they always say that, whatever I do, it's 90% of of what it's not like. Life is what 90% of the things of how you handle the things, the 10% of the things that happen to you. I'll tell
true.
myself one time, my hair is white. Well, one day we were talking about the kids were just changing their hair color here and there, and it was like, oh, Grammy, can we just put little top on the top of your head? And I went, okay, sure, why not? Well, I thought it was going to be pink. It was fire engine red. So I had color on the top of my hair, which wouldn't have been quite so bad. But it sunk down so that I had these patches of fire engine red hair. And I'm like, oh well. And so then, of course, you have to go to work. You have to go. It's like, what happened to your hair? My grandchildren. And it became so fun. Remember when you did?
My stomach is hurting.
You gotta learn to laugh at yourself. You gotta learn to laugh at yourself.
You do.
So what was the subject again?
I think the subject is choice. I think mindset is all about choice.
I think we need to thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh Lord, you started this, Barbara Beckley.
She did.
You're so right.
When you hear, the thing is, though, when you hear somebody else laughing,
you start to
there are going to be people on here that are going to laugh because we're laughing. Because
exactly.
I mean, life is about having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, business does not have to be serious all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Business can be fun. Laugh at the bloopers that happen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God! You're talking about bloopers. I'm just thinking about all the ones that I had in the past. I should have been recording this.
Too bad you didn't record being in that lobby. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a blooper. I'm like, where's everybody? I don't see you. We're over here, Barbara. Where you at? I don't see you. We're over here, Barbara.
We're here.
We're here. I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
Thank God for Regina. Thank God for Regina. Because she came in later with me and she's like, I was lost too, Barbara. So anything to make me feel a little bit better. Well, now I can't believe that the time is up already.
No.
I'm having a hot flash.
It's fast.
My age is showing badly right now.
Barbara, I have two fans on me.
Laughter makes you have a hot flash.
Oh my goodness.
It's all about the mindset. I'm feeling coolness. I'm just going to think about it.
Yep, there you go. Big cool thought.
Oh Lord. Hilarious.
We'll blow on you, Barb. We'll blow on you.
Because these cars ain't doing nothing. But anyway,
you want some water?
It's like, oh my God, I want that water. Are we still live? Oh yes, we are. Okay.
Oh yes.
It's like, yes, we are. Okay.
Oh my goodness, my stomach hurts.
I have a feeling if you took that water, it wouldn't all be going inside of you.
No, it would be
Oh, Lord.
Cooling you down.
I'll be shaking it. They wouldn't even go here. They wouldn't even get here.
Oh Lord, this is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think we were going to be recording some bloopers.
This is live. Michelle, this is live.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now that get us to ending here, and I can't get to it. Okay.
Oh, brother.
Oh my goodness.
I feel kind of good. I feel a breeze. But anyway, Regina, help me here. Any last thoughts for tonight before we end our mindset?
Oh.
Well, I
truly believe mindset is a choice, just like
Yeah.
happiness is a choice. And it doesn't mean that you're always going to be positive, that you're always going to be in a positive mood,
Yeah.
and thinking positively, but that you're going to choose to change it when those other things do arise. You're
Mhm.
going to choose the higher road. You're going to choose to say, I don't want to stay here. One example of somebody shared with me years ago was, I'm putting a timer on this. I'm going to have a pity party for the next 10 minutes,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'm going to turn off the timer and I'm going to go back to work.
Mhm.
That's a choice that
Mhm.
that is mindset. So it doesn't mean that we're being Pollyanna and
Mhm.
everything is always light and bright. It's not. We're
Mhm.
human. We go through trials and tribulations, but it's
Mhm.
how, like you said, Lachelle, earlier, it's how we respond to those. And that's a
Mhm.
choice, that we make a choice to not chase that arsonist, but to put out the fire.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
I like
Right.
it. Yeah. It is
Yeah.
all,
Exactly.
it all boils down to that. You're right. I love how you put that, Regina, in a bow. I call it in a bow. It is a choice. Everybody got to make their
It's
choice. Some
choice.
people, they might have a 1 minute pity party. Other people have what, 3 weeks pity party.
A lifetime. Some
And
people
a
have
Right.
And some
lifetime
people
pity
lifetime,
have
parties.
years.
so, years, yeah.
Years.
And
Yeah.
and the thing about it is, though, too, I'd like to add is if that's where you are, don't beat
Mhm.
yourself up about it.
Right.
Realize that you are the sum of the experiences in your life. And like we were
Mhm.
all talking about our childhood experiences and those values that were passed on to us. So realize that you're the sum of that, but it is never too late to take control of it. So don't
So
beat
true.
yourself up. Make a decision that you're going to find a better way, that you're going to find that happiness. You're going to find that place of being a better you than you are now.
So true. Well,
Yeah.
and another thing that I would add too, since we're talking about fires, is my mom always says this. She says you don't have to set yourself on fire
Yeah.
to keep other people warm.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. I love
Oh,
that.
Mm,
I
like
that's
love
that.
that.
good. I like
yeah.
that.
So you
I
got
like
to
that.
realize that, a lot of times we try to look out for other people's needs when we're not even taking care of our own first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
True.
it's just like we're back to the airplane. Put your own oxygen mask on first, then you can give
Exactly.
to others. We
Yeah.
should be giving out of abundance,
Yeah.
but a lot of
Right.
times we're given out of scarcity, out of
Yeah.
depletion.
Right.
We're not fueled up ourselves, but we think for some way, if we give what little bit we have, that it's going to replenish, and it just doesn't work like that. We
Right.
have to fill
Mhm.
our own cup up first.
Yep.
So,
Right.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
something to be mindful of.
Ooh,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Good, good
Pearls of
And one of
wisdom here.
wisdom. Yeah.
pearls of wisdom.
Or
Yeah.
diamonds.
And one of
Diamonds. Sorry. Diamonds.
diamonds. Right. Diamonds. Yes. Uh, and
So,
for me,
Barbara,
to not take on somebody else's.
Mm.
Don't take on somebody else's. Like with me, and you've heard me say this before. My sister, she was when after David died, and then I was like thinking, because now it's been 10 years, and we were taught one day. We were several years ago. We were talking about me starting to date again, and she said, "Well, gee, Barbara, you really, I mean, if you're building, men our age aren't going to want to date and be with a woman who's building a business." And I finally, after a couple of times of her saying it, I finally looked at her and I said, well, you know what? The perfect man out there is going to want to be with me because I am building a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he is going to be able to join me in my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I think a week or so ago on one of my other shows, maybe it was on Diamond Factory, that we were talking just about this. And she said to me the other day, she says, Barb, now I understand what you're saying.
That's awesome.
That you're looking for a man who wants what you have, that
Right.
you're going for.
Not settling
that
for
was
a man who doesn't.
Exactly.
Not
Yeah.
settle for a man who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, Barb, I finally understand it. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So don't take on somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm loving how you see how that you just totally helped turn around her own mind, the mindset of your sister. How
Yeah.
she was trying to tell you to put it in your yard, and say, well, you know what? A man's not going to do, they're not going to deal with her. Yeah. And then she sat back. You were like, no, I'm not going to take that. You're not going to put that in my yard. She came back and said, you know what? Let me take that back from your yard because I was wrong.
Yeah. Now I understand it.
Wow, that's powerful.
It was powerful. When you can just stand in your own, and sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
But if you can
especially
do it
with
kindly,
family.
especially with family.
Yeah.
But when I just kind of stood my ground a little bit, and sometimes you have to stand your ground. But first you have to know your ground. Who are you?
There you go. Yep. You got to know your ground.
Who are you? Who are you within what you do? And when you can stand your ground, and you can do it kindly. I just said, hey,
absolutely.
My man out, the perfect man out there, he's going to do it because I'm building a business.
Amen.
Yeah. He's going to respect it and be with you 100%. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I'm going to end. Well, we all said our little last minute. I'm going to say it like this. First of all, again, thank you, ladies, for always coming. This is just a joy to me. I look forward to these months.
It's fun.
Because I had so much.
This was fun.
This was fun.
But I want to say, and I've been using this a lot. I've been telling people a lot lately about mindset. Is okay. It's one thing to have that mindset. Okay, positive. But I believe to make it even stronger is you have to have that heart set too.
Yes.
I feel like if you connect the two together and they come together real nice, then you have then things can't really move you that much, because when your heart is in it and your mind is in it together, think about that. I always tell people, I say, if you just have a mindset because somebody told you, well, you gotta have a positive mindset, but then your heart is not in it, guess what? It's not going to last that long in your eyes because your heart wasn't really in it. You just listen to somebody else, or you heard a speaker say have a mindset, or you heard me say have a positive mindset. But when your heart connects to that mindset of being positive, of wanting to help, anything that has to do with mindset, and your heart is there, it goes a much longer way. So I just want to leave everybody with that. I think it takes both.
So true. So true, Barb.
Yeah. And on that end, I'm cooler now. It went away.
Short-lived, thank goodness. Huh?
Yeah. It's just like my own summers.
Private summers, yep. Been there, done that.
I remember, I'm going to tell. I remember one day, David came home and said, "Isn't it a little cool in the house?" I went, "No, it's fine." He literally wore a winter coat in the house.
Bless his heart.
I do. It's like an igloo in my townhouse. Sometimes it's like an igloo. People come to me like, it's freezing in here. I'm like, no, we're fine. I'm fine. Wear a coat here. I'd be like, here's a blanket.
Here's a blanket.
Put on a coat.
Because I'm not cutting this off.
Oh man!
And men will never experience that.
That pisses me off. Now I'm thinking about it.
That's just not fair.
Like, really? Not fair. That's why they can't say too much. It's like, look. Yeah. I got a cold. I got hot flashes. You can't beat that. Which one wins over the other?
Oh man!
So with that, everybody, hopefully they enjoyed. They got some enjoyment out of this. Happy,
a little laughter,
learn. Diamonds of wisdom, as we call it. It's just been phenomenal, and it doesn't even seem like it's been an hour. And then we had Laura coming on. I mean, this has been like, it just felt like we're in our living room. People come to visit and everything. Wow. So with that, again, we will have this every. Please put it on your calendars and tune in. First Thursdays of every month, we will just have our discussions here and have different topics. And as I always tell people, no matter what it is. Always think positive in your life because you are special, you're amazing, and you're wonderful. And remember that, like Barbara always says that, we're here to make happiness the norm. So let's make it happen. Let's accomplish that because we only have a life to live.
Absolutely.
So let's make happiness the norm. So ladies, thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. Before I don't want to do this, I have to make sure. Please tell each one of you how they can contact you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go with Regina.
Okay. Yeah, you can reach out to me via email, Regina, that's REGINA, at bridgeportstrategy.com. So the word bridge, the word port, and the word strategy, singular.com.
Okay.
All right. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Lachelle Atkins or America's Supermom. And I have a show on the Diamond Factor on Fridays at 7:30 a.m. So you can set your reminder for that as well. Fashion Friday segment is what I have.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Okay. I'm Barbara Ellison. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn also, or you can email me at barbara@movingonmovement.com.
Now, and then with me, as you can reach me here on www.barbarabeckley.com. I'm so happy to say my website because it's finally complete. So I love it. Like, yes, come to my website, please. So with that said, all these wonderful ladies will help you out. We just not just a laughter, but we're here to create impact and value in people's lives. And as you can see, you can reach out to each and any one of us, and we're here for you. And when we come collectively, it's even more powerful. So come on down on Thursdays and then just be with us. Ladies, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Try to don't have hot flashes if you don't have no more. Thank God. Take care.